My name's Sonu Lamba, and today we're making ramen. I love eating ramen noodle soup, but I don't like instant ramen. So, there's a lot of products out on the market nowadays. This is one of them, Sapporo Ichiban. I remember when I was a kid, this was really popular. So the noodles themselves have 20 ingredients, and the broth has 30 ingredients. Now, a lot of the items in here are not healthy. They have MSG, which is known as monosodium glutamate, flavor enhancer, not good for you. I don't like eating things that have MSG added to them. I do recommend a wonderful noodle product. This is Nona Lim. You can buy these are ramen noodles. You can buy them from Whole Foods or PCC. The noodles themselves have 4 ingredients. I'm going to read them to you. So, we have wheat flour, a little bit of purified water, vital wheat gluten, and finally a little bit of sea salt. I would rather eat this than any package that has 20 ingredients in it. So I love these noodles. These have a little bit more texture on them. Unlike instant ramen noodles, which are very soft, these have a little bit more of an al dente bite. So I love this product. Consider getting it. It's fantastic. The broth that we're going to make today has about 5 or 6 ingredients. I don't use MSG in any of my cooking. I don't think food should be enhanced through artificial flavor enhancers. I do use a natural umami powder, which uses shiitake mushrooms to enhance the broth itself. I recommend this product. You can find this on Amazon. It is delicious. It is all natural, and you're gonna love it. Very versatile. Great. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna take some vegetable broth. So I like this brand. This is Rapunzel. Rapunzel is excellent. You can buy it on Amazon, very affordable. So what I've done is I've taken a cube of broth and I've added it to 2 cups of boiling hot water. And here it is. And you can see my broth. This is gonna help it get started with some flavor. And this brand of vegetable broth, the only thing it has in it is some sea salt, some yeast extract, onions, carrots, celery, parsley, and turmeric. So it's got all natural ingredients. It's good for you. So next, to my broth, I'm gonna add a few ingredients. I'm gonna go ahead and add a teaspoon of my umami powder. This is gonna give it that restaurant-worthy taste that you're used to eating in really good Asian restaurants. And you don't have to feel bad eating it because it's actually good for you. Okay, so I'm gonna add a teaspoon of my umami powder directly to that. This takes a few minutes to dissolve. Okay, in it goes. Okay, next I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of shoyu. So shoyu is a gluten-free soya sauce. And I'm gonna use about half a teaspoon. Now the vegetable broth itself has a little bit of sodium already. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. So we're gonna do about half a teaspoon of this. That's about half a teaspoon right there. In it goes. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of rice vinegar. So one of the main ingredients to a flavorful broth is a little bit of acidity. And nothing beats the acidity of a rice vinegar in a really good broth. So I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of this rice vinegar. There it is, goes in. Okay, next I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of sriracha. There's my sriracha, great. Okay, and finally, we are gonna add a little bit of toasted sesame oil. If you have untoasted sesame oil, that's fine. I feel this has a better depth of flavor. So if you can opt for the toasted sesame oil, definitely get it. It's excellent. Okay, so just a couple splashes, half a teaspoon of that. That's about half a teaspoon. Okay, great. In it goes. And I am going to give this a gentle mix. Just like that. Okay, so next, all we have to do is boil our noodles for 2 minutes. And then once they're cooked, I'm gonna directly add my noodles to my broth. One of the errors a lot of people make with ramen noodles is, you take your noodles and you drain it and you rinse it in cold water. You wanna retain some of the gluten on the noodles. That gluten is gonna help your noodles stick to the broth and they'll be flavored better. Another thing you don't wanna do ever is cook your noodles in your broth. If you do that, your noodles will turn out gummy and very, very starchy, and it'll affect the overall color, the flavor, and the consistency. So definitely boil these in hot water separately. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead, take some hot water, put it in my smaller pot here, boil my noodles 2 minutes. After that, we're gonna put this dish together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this hot water into my little soup pot here. If you've seen any of my previous recipes, definitely hit the subscribe button. I'd love to get to know all of you better. Leave me a comment. Thank you guys, I really appreciate that. Okay, so once this comes to a boil, I'm gonna go ahead, take my noodles, and I'm gonna let them boil in my hot water. Get my scissors. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take these awesome ramen noodles and we're gonna put them in our boiling hot water for about 2 minutes. So, take these and just agitate them. Okay, and these are gonna cook 2 minutes. Okay, so the days I make ramen noodle soup, I love to add my own fiber to my soup. I like to add carrots, I like to add spinach, I love adding mushrooms. Lately we add edamame. So there's one secret ingredient. I love adding a couple tablespoons of kimchi juice to my ramen. It just takes it up a notch and it makes it so much more restaurant worthy. So I recommend, if you can find a vegan kimchi, definitely save the juice in the bottom of the jar. It makes for a great ramen, ramen soup night. Just to add on the top for some additional color. Other things you can add to garnish your bowl are like black sesame seeds. We also add some fried tofu. You can air fry tofu and add it as an additional protein source. I don't have any today, but those are some options for how to add more fiber and nutrition to your bowl. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. It looks like my noodles are done. Take a gentle little... Oh yeah, this is perfect. And when you touch these noodles, you can definitely feel the starchiness on them. You want to preserve the starches and the gluten so that when you put it in here, the broth adheres to the noodle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove off, and I'm going to go ahead and take this and move it a little bit closer. Okay, and I'm going to transfer my noodles into my broth directly. Let's do about half. And I think 1 packet of the Nona Lim noodles would probably serve 2 people. Okay, so in it goes. Great. And I'm just going to stir it just like that. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. And we are actually ready to plate. Perfect timing. Okay, so I'm gonna get my soup bowl, my chopsticks, and a couple of garnishes. Add whatever vegetables you want. I highly recommend the spinach, the carrots, edamame, tofu, whatever your kids like. Add it. Okay, so I'm gonna add a couple ladlefuls of my broth, and then I'm gonna add my noodles. So there goes my broth. And this broth will be tart, it'll be salty, it'll have that umami mushroom flavor, which will give it that depth. And this will be slightly spicy because of the sriracha. If you don't like sriracha, don't add it. But I like to have a little bit of spice in my broth. Okay, that's perfect right there. In go my noodles. And these noodles, when you buy a high-end noodle product, you'll taste more of a texture on the noodles. They're not gonna just dissolve in your mouth. That's what I love about these ones. All right, time to plate this. So I have my wonderful ramen noodles and my broth in my bowl here. This looks so great. To it, I'm gonna add some kimchi juice. Kimchi is fermented cabbage. It's Korean. It's really, really good for you. It's a great probiotic. I love it. I got my kimchi from Araya's Place. Araya's Place is a vegan restaurant in Seattle. They have multiple locations. I believe there's 2 locations in Seattle, 1 in Bellevue. They do fantastic Thai food. If you like Thai, definitely check out Araya's Place. I love it. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of the kimchi juice just around my soup bowl. This is gonna add a wonderful tart and spicy aftertaste, which I love. So, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna just add it right here. There we go. You can add a little bit more. I love this stuff. Try it and see. I usually add about 3 tablespoons. If you're new to this, maybe add 1 tablespoon, see what you think. If you love it, add more. And you can definitely add the kimchi too. So the cabbage and the radishes, add it to your soup if you like it. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of edamame for color. Okay, so here's my edamame. There it is. Great. Okay. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of the sesame oil that we used earlier just around this. Just for some color. There we go. Okay, and I'm actually gonna add one more thing. I'm gonna add some black sesame seeds once I find them. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of these black sesame seeds just for some color. Okay, that looks fantastic. Wonderful. Yay! Time to try our ramen noodle soup. Okay, so I'm gonna try the broth first. This is fantastic. I can taste the sriracha. It's so good. I taste the acidity from the rice vinegar. I also taste the kimchi juice. This is so tantalizing to my taste buds. I love it. You have to make this for your family. I'm gonna try the noodles now. Chopsticks. So these noodles have a wonderful bite. They're kind of glassy. They're so smooth and they're so comforting. On a cold winter night, you have to make this. You owe it to yourself. This is delicious. It's restaurant worthy. It's healthy. Pack in all the vegetables you want for your kids and your spouse and your family into this. Spinach, carrots. You could put squash, broccoli. I highly recommend the edamame. It's great. Definitely use a tablespoon of the kimchi juice. If you enjoyed my channel, please subscribe. It would be such a compliment to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, we are gonna make vegan tofu scramble. It is fantastic. I made it for my kids today. We all loved it. There will not be leftovers. So definitely come next week, vegan tofu scramble. Thank you guys. Have a great week.